Yeah.
Hi, everybody. We're here. My window's whistling. Whistling windows. It's a whistling windows show.
Whistling Dixie.
It ain't whistling Dixie. I hope you like the sound of wind, because you're going to hear a whole lot of it this episode.
Just go
Oh,
get a cup of tea and close your eyes.
oh, this is killing me. What's her name?
Who? What are you even talking about? There's no context to help you with this one.
Yeah,
You just randomly said who's the person's
I know.
name.
No, I'm trying to think of the girl with the wind ring from Captain Planet. What her name is? Because I know it's Kwame's Earth, Wheeler is Fire.
That's way more Captain Planet
Wind.
than I know.
Another girl is Heart, and then Mati is Heart, and the other girl's Water. And I forget her name. And now
Jessica. Jamie.
No, she's like Russian. I don't think
Linka.
Linka. That sounds right.
Google for the wind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she Googled it, Ben.
I
Weird.
did.
If only you had the power to do such things, man, in front
I
of a
remember
Right.
watching this show, but the names, I was like, I know there was a blonde.
That's Linka.
Yes,
Yeah.
female Link.
That show was great when I was growing up.
Female.
Heart.
Isn't
I ended up
female
getting,
Link Zelda?
Kwame and Amati action figure was like a 2-pack, and then they came with the rings. So I had the ring and the heart ring, and it was awesome.
I just love that someone had a heart ring. Like, wind, fire, heart.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense, but it's
It
like
did.
it's the saddest of the abilities. It's like, those people are sad.
Make them happy, which is good. Like, that's a
Yeah,
legit
true,
power.
true.
But
And
fire?
he got to like talk to animals and stuff, so I guess that was okay.
But fire.
Yeah, fire.
I just remember at one point they were like, let me tell you about the war going on in Ireland. And I was like, oh my gosh, this got too real.
It did get. I have watched a couple episodes as an adult. It was pretty intense sometimes compared to some kids' shows nowadays.
Definitely. Well, a lot of like shows back in the day were like way in your face of like,
Oh my god.
stuff is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember, and again, this is a serious issue, but I remember being terrified that the rainforest was going to be all gone by 2020 because that was in like every, like Reading Rainbow had it in. That's the one I can think off the top of my head. Magic School Bus, I think, did something, but I was terrified of this, which I'm glad they're here. Like, I think there's lots of preservation, good job, but Phineas and Ferb doesn't have that really. Like,
So this is a John Mulaney bit, but it rung very true. I was terrified of quicksand.
yes,
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be a bigger deal in life. Like, I thought quicksand was going to be much more of a present
Go out of the
danger.
world, it's everywhere.
It was presented like I could run into it on my way to school if I wasn't careful. Thank God for the sidewalk protecting me from all the quicksand.
Yeah, but even so, like if you get to quicksand, it's like 2 feet deep, maybe.
Yeah, it's not as.
It's not like my entire body is going down and I'm dead.
Well, and then eventually that led me to discover sinkholes, which was just like,
Yeah, those are terrible.
Those are real though.
yes, and they're
Not that
terrifying.
quicksand
And,
isn't,
and
but-
they're just like, and all these people died in seconds. You're just like, what? There was nothing they could do. They just died.
Yeah. So let's get the show going. It's gonna be like that Casey Kasem switching over to a happy song after the dog died or something.
Oh my god.
12 years ago this week,
Little Fluffy came into our
a
lives.
sinkhole opened and ate them all. Now, Jewel. I don't know why I went to Jewel. I couldn't think of any artist. Jewel was the
That's
only
so
thing I could think of.
Now, from the Lego movie, everything is awesome. What the hell?
Awesome. Oh my god. I hear that song all the time.
But everything's
That's because
awesome.
everything's awesome, right?
So much.
Isn't it
That
awesome?
and Batman Lego soundtrack.
Isn't it all awesome?
Everything is awesome.
His
All right,
parents are
anyways.
dead, you know.
And I'm
Darkness.
No.
Okay, let's get the show started.
Don't tell me what to do. Just, well, no, you should tell me what to do.
We discussed that earlier.
Yeah, John.
Anyway, this is your advance warning. The wind is gonna whistle. There's nothing I can do about it. You've been told up front.
You know, you could have said that after we started the show proper, so that
I'll probably say it again.
Okay.
It'll
Well,
be noticeable.
that works. Anyways, are you both ready? Cool. I got a thumbs up. John, I can't see you for a thumbs
Oh,
up.
I didn't see her. I was just like, this is awesome. Neither of us are answering.
Inconvenient drink time.
Yeah, Ben. Hi. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Right. Welcome to Azeroth Roundtable, episode 279. My name is Ben Bumhofer. It is Friday. It is a wonderful day. And with me, as always, is John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hello, Ben. It is Friday night here in Azeroth. It's windy in my apartment, and I'm going to mute frequently. But I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be joining you, and I'm happy that Turarts could be joining us tonight at the roundtable.
Me too. Welcome, Turarts.
Yes, I'm excited to be back. I always love being on this show. We have good discussion, and we have a lot to talk about, so I'm excited to see what direction we go with on this one.
Oh, we have a lot to talk about today. A whole lot. Wow.
Yeah, so it's funny. I feel like we should acknowledge the behind the scenes here a little bit. You all might have noticed that Pat Crane, who has Alliance Tunes, was here last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now we're here with Turarts, who also has Alliance Tunes. This week.
Huh.
It's almost as if we had a perhaps topic that we would like an Alliance perspective on.
What?
That we may have frequently misjudged when exactly this event was going to be happening in relation to the patch.
Well, a specific part of a larger event.
Maybe for about 3 weeks now, we've been misjudging when exactly this would be going on.
But the good news is that there is plenty of Horde and Alliance talk, and that's one of the reasons why I am very happy that Turarts is with us this week.
But Ben, why invite someone for an Alliance perspective when there was one here all along? I clicked the wrong thing. All along. This will play better on the video. Yeah.
Okay.
It switched and I was in the Alliance box instead of the Horde.
Well, the funny thing is that I've also played the Alliance side, so apparently we're an Alliance show now.
Woot!
I don't know.
Come to the dark side.
I have played both sides.
Yes.
Apparently we both have, so I'll switch back to this where I'm in the Horde side.
Okay. So before we get started, in case anybody's wondering, I never usually say the date or anything. This is July 27th. It is pre-patch content before Battle for Azeroth. So if you're like going back and listening to this like years later, which people have actually done, okay, cool, good on you. It's weird though. You know what? If you are not listening to this the week of, and it's been like a year since this episode's been out, send us an email. And I get that I actually asked you to do this. So it's going to be weird and wacky. I just want to know. Anyways, so just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on and everything, we're going to be talking about spoilers. So if you are actually listening this week, you probably played this content already.
Spoilers for what's already in the game.
Yeah, exactly. So, Turarts, let's go ahead and start with you. Here's the thing. We wanted you here because of an Alliance perspective, and of course, John and I played that as well.
Awesome.
Yes, that's the main thing. But you just have to fit into the Alliance part of.
Yes.
Hey, you know who would be great? One of my favorite people, and so it just totally fit. So, what's your idea? Like, what are your thoughts on the whole like opening quest line and stuff?
Yeah. First of all, as an Alliance, I love going back to some of those Night Elf beginning areas because I am a Night Elf hunter, and it's been so long since I've been back. So seeing Darkshore and all this stuff was great. But I'm perplexed. we're rallying people. We're fighting the horde who are now in our territory, and we have no idea, what's going. Like we know what's going on. We're after this mineral, but y'all are killing us. Like straight up murdering us, and I'm not cool with that. Like, what is
Good
going
choice of
on?
words.
Yeah.
Y'all straight up killing us, and I'm not happy about that. And we're rallying our troops, we're getting ships in, and we kind of ended with that we're just in this rallying, that we're gonna fight you back, and it's gonna be okay. And we all know that's a lie because we know what happens next.
Yeah, it's not gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping Nami just burns some food so I don't have to like hate the horde. But this is my home, you guys. Like.
Yeah, it is your home.
I mean, my money's still on you guys. It's an inside job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or my money is too.
I'm okay. I have bled red before. I did the horde stuff, and there are parts of the horde that I really do love. Like I want the Turarts to come to us. Like I just want all of them. I love them. But the horde side, I'm very perplexed on your guys' quest line because I did see that, and you get a choice that you don't really get a choice on. Is that a good way?
No, that's a pretty perfect
Yeah.
way of putting it. You have a choice that is then removed.
Like you get a choice, but you still. I don't get it.
Well, let me just throw this out there really quick, just to sum up my feelings overall about the horde side of things. After going through the content, I was very not happy, and then I switched over, played the Alliance side, and I'm like, yes, definitely not happier. And then I didn't want to play WoW anymore.
Yeah.
I haven't logged since that time, and I'll be logging in on Tuesday to do the next bit. But it's, how deeply I am into story and everything. And this story, as of right now, and I understand it's the opening sentence of a story, and it is not jiving with me at all.
And you guys have played for a long time too, longer than I have. I was excited to spark this fight again. I know we've done this. We've had Horde versus Alliance for eons. But for it to be the expansion we're focusing on this, I was stoked. And then I did the Alliance quest, and I'm like, wow, they're really making the Horde out to be these evil butts.
Yeah.
I had to remember this is PG-ish. So, but
fine.
I was pissed because I want the Horde to have a redeeming factor. You guys have been through so much. You've lost Thrall, and then you lost Vol'jin, and then I mean Garrosh was in there too, kind of. I don't like to talk about him.
You had to put up with him.
You had to put up with Garrosh. You lost Vol'jin, and now you have Sylvanas, who's just trying to bring this broken thing together while kind of having her own motives, I feel like, over here. But we'll see what happens. And I want you guys to just show that this redeeming thing. And then they come and they do this. And I'm like, well, it didn't matter if you chose not to kill because you're still going to kill them. Yeah. What was the point of that?
So, John, what quest part or aspect are we actually talking about the choice and everything?
Yeah, so let me lay it out a little bit what's going on here. And this is the hard part about something that's divisive like this. So I want to take a moment before we dive into it to just address this. On this show, we have been trying to be a bit more positive. Not lie about our opinions. Last week I said, man, it's like they toggled the switch and the game stopped being fun. I'm not afraid to tell you what I think. You're not going to get anything that I'm not feeling. But you're here because you have a passion for World of Warcraft that we share. And I would like this show to make a turn from leaning into let's complain about it to let's embrace the stuff that we like. That said, there are going to be times where we need to address something that maybe we didn't love. Maybe we didn't like. And I think we all need to do that in as respectful a way as we can, because there are probably people that are eating this up and love this.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. I've actually seen on Twitter a lot of people are super happy with the progress with this and everything, and are really looking forward to the expansion. And for that, I'm really happy that, I've been really lucky up to this point where all of the expansions have been something that I've been, super into, super, happy about, love the story. Like, I still go back to Pandaria being, in my opinion, the best story this game's had. Legion, really great too. I mean, there's been so much that's been there, but there's always been those people in the background saying, well, what about the war in Warcraft? Why aren't we fighting the Horde and the Alliance and everything? So I'm glad that they get this expansion. So hands down, that I'm glad that they're going to be able to experience the same sort of love for the story that I've had for a very long time now.
So my point is that I want people to hear this, and I want people to feel like, regardless of whether you like it or you dislike it, we're going to have a critique, we're going to have a conversation about it, we're going to share ideas. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. And the other problem with this sort of situation is whenever there's an extremely divisive thing in video gaming, trend lately has been, let's turn the anger and the frustration up to 11. I get it. I'm certainly guilty of it. I've never been one to go after the people who made it. That's a line I've thankfully never crossed. The problem is that people have a way of taking things a little too far.
Mm-hmm.
And when you take a stance, you frequently unintentionally put yourself in camps with people who feel that way. I saw him in the chat, which is why it's top of my mind. I don't want to throw him under the bus on this, but I'll just say I have a friend who genuinely disliked The Last Jedi. Not an unpopular opinion. But I happen to know that this person does not love talking about that fact because there are such raging, militantly angry people about that movie that are going about it the wrong way, that are having dumb petitions, that are making dumb requests, that are doing all sorts of things above and beyond, and they don't want to be necessarily associated with that. So I understand wanting to kind of hold back and not be a part of that. And that's kind of where I'm at. I have a lot of very strong opinions about this content and this story. But there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of ugly things around it that I don't want to be associated with. So I kind of want, to put this big long preamble to a close, this show to be my moment to kind of talk through it, and then we can move on.
And one thing to remember, this is part 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have no idea what's coming Tuesday that can 100% aha, oh my God. And you guys have your show next week and just be like, hey, remember when we were talking about that? Well, and that's something like I was the Alliance I played through. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And then I saw the Horde one. I was like, I am confused a lot. But this is part 1. There is still a part 2. We still have so many unanswered questions. And I can't make a good assessment off of it right now because I don't have all the answers. It's not stopping people from making an assessment and sharing their opinions, but I'm trying just to wait and see. Blizzard does a good job. They haven't let me down yet.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm waiting for Tuesday. I'm waiting for the next bit. I'm waiting for the expansion as a whole because, I mean, to be fair, I'm going to play the heck out of the expansion. It's what I do, So it's going to happen, and I'm going to play it, and I'm going to, react however I react to it and everything. So I don't know. Where exactly do we want to start with this then, John?
So let's go ahead and start with kind of what we've alluded to, which is the story.
Yes.
And storyline-wise, I think one of my frustrations is that I think there's a good story to the basis of this war.
Yeah.
I think the problem is you have to do too much digging for it to make a lot of sense. It's sort of like when people throw out the Sylvanas is evil, and then the other camp says, no, when you think about it, her decisions actually make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
They actually kind of can, in that scary way that you can rationalize almost anything if you try hard enough. But That's kind of what this game is asking you to do. It's asking you to jump through a lot of hoops to understand where the story is coming from. It's trying very hard to make you understand the importance of Azerite and what that does to a dynamic of power where two factions that don't like each other are currently at a stalemate. So what happens when something introduces or is introduced to this that can shift the scales? And when you think about that, of course it leads to war. It just, that's sort of the logical story progression. So for me as a Horde player, I don't have a problem with Sylvanas wanting to necessarily go to war. The big issue for me, and I think this is what Ben was talking about, and we can dive into this particular section, is that for the Horde quest, there is a part where you take over Astronar, I believe is the name of the town, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like astronaut.
Yes, the astronaut town.
The space city in WoW.
Yeah, it's where they filmed the moon landing. Don't write in. It's a joke. So... also, if you were going to write in because you thought that I thought they filmed the moon landing in a virtual night elf world, there's additional problems.
I kind of want to see that right in.
I do want to see that, though. Okay, so when you take over that town, you are sent there to assist a blood elf rogue, which was weird as a blood elf rogue. I was like, I could do this. What do I need this guy for?
Well, you didn't have the poison that
Who's
the
he?
blood elf had. That's what it was.
That's true. I'd have been fine. So your goal, your mission, as it is presented, is to sneak around the town and sick this rogue on 10 guards so that you can essentially, by yourself, and they make a point of this multiple times to say solely, I mean, you're not, because you got the blood elf there, but they still give you soul credit for it for some reason. By yourself, basically take over a town because you've removed all of the defenses. Now it's just a bunch of civilians at this point, so the Horde can just come in and say, well, we won, you're done, the town's gone. So the mission is a little tricky because you can sick your blood elf companion on shopkeepers, on the civilians in the town. You can do really whatever you want. You only get quest credit for killing guards. That's what you were told to do. That's the mission. Where it gets controversial is that if you play the Alliance side of this story...
Well, hold on. Before that, I saw on Twitter where people who did play, fight against civilians or shopkeepers or whatever, where if you mark them, the NPC says, "Oh, that's not part of the mission, but I like your style," or something like that. Like basically complimenting you on killing civilians.
Yeah, there is dialogue for it. I didn't know it because I didn't do it, but I did hear about it later.
Yeah.
So when you go over to the Alliance side and you play through that, and you go to the town after this event has transpired, there's a little bit of a retcon that has occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody in the town is dead.
Yep.
Everybody in the town who's dead is in a pool of poison, the poison that this blood elf was killing people with. And there are undead everywhere, which is also weird because it was an orc invasion. There were a couple Tauren in there, but the army that went through was definitely orcs and Tauren. And also, it is the most mindless aggro undead you've ever heard in your life. When they get mad, they're just like, I want to kill everything. Like, they are absolutely the most, like, perfectly evil undead that you've ever met. Which I'm also fine with because, to me, that's almost an artistic choice. Like, this is how the Alliance perceives them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The game's not telling me that. I'm reading into that, but I can see that being a cool thing. And the Alliance makes a big deal about, oh, they murdered the entire town, you know. As a Horde player that's desperately trying to hang on to the last vestiges of I'm a hero, seriously, guys, I'm a hero.
And honor and stuff.
it's very disheartening to have your act as a character be turned into this extremely villainous act. Because we're not talking about, oh, Sylvanas rolled up and did something bad. We're talking about the mission you did on your Horde tune was actually this villainous thing. Now, I've heard people say, and I'll pass it around right after this, that, well, of course they have to have a canonical version. If you can do multiple things, there has to be a canonical version. My issue, personally, is don't give me a choice if you're not going to respect it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
as a player, I felt very disrespected to be told, okay, you went through and did this mission this way. The game lore doesn't care. Doesn't matter. Because this is what happened. Because then I turn around and say, well, then why did I do it?
Yeah, we know that it's super simple for them to make it so that roguey dude wouldn't kill someone, because how many times have you clicked on someone and tried to do a special action and they weren't a target that
Compatible,
you could...
yeah.
Yeah. So we know that that was a possibility. I don't know.
Part of me is hoping that Tuesday when we get answers to this stuff. I don't feel like WoW has never done anything like this before that I can remember. We've had lots of quests, lots of expansions, but they've never had something where they gave you a choice and then it didn't matter. It was like, great, you didn't kill the civilians. Well, it doesn't matter. Look at them. They're dead anyway, and they create this wall of wisps, and that's it. Like, I don't understand. But like you said, there's so many people who are happy with it. It is what it is, and that's good. That's great. But this is just such an odd, big loophole.
It's like
for what WoW does.
The tiniest of disconnects between the Horde and Alliance, I don't know, quest writers or something. Like,
yeah,
if they're actually, created by different teams, which, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and I think I heard this somewhere, that the Horde side and the Alliance side are, for this expansion, entirely different when it comes to quest.
Yeah.
So maybe it's because of that disconnect that this happened. I don't know if they worked together to try to figure this part out, or just said, oh, this happened, okay, cool, and then they kind of ran with it or something. That I'm not sure about. Don't quote me on any of that, but I don't know. But to me, John, I think you nailed it, and it's something that we've kind of talked about a little bit before, of leading up to Battle for Azeroth. So much of it has seemed like, okay, well, the Horde are going to be the bad guys. And, I've been playing a champion. I've been playing a hero this whole time and everything. So when the initial quest starts with, oh, hey, we're going to go kill Malfurion.
Yeah.
That's kind of like just that is kind of like a stretch. But it's like, okay, well, I'm going to continue with this, with the story and everything. Who knows if he's actually going to die by the end of this or not. But I found that to be an interesting choice for Sylvanas, just to be all like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to totally kill Malfurion. That's what we're doing for this plan. And then we're also going to take Darnassus.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. This was probably a John thing more than a character thing, but I was on board with the killing of Malfurion. My only issue is it was the wrong half of that power couple.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, Tyrande. It's going to happen. I'm going to get my...
Tyrande.
Oh, she's the worst. She's suing her pizza company to try and get control of
it. Oh, Lord.
Wow.
It's just what I heard.
Okay.
I know we've known about this for a while, but I'm really shocked because this is the first expansion. Like, the Horde and Alliance have had some different quests, like, because your area's here and my area's here.
Yeah.
But this is just really odd. Like, it feels very different than the Warcraft we're used to. And I just don't know how it's going to play out.
I think
there's lots of...
The biggest problem for me is that they did this so well with the Broken Shore. They did it perfect. They presented a scenario that was very easily misunderstood, that very easily set the tensions in place, that would have explained the hostility. And this is sort of building off of that. But the big difference between, what we're experiencing with this and what we're experiencing with the Broken Shore is this is trying to tell you that two completely different things actually happened.
Yeah.
Whereas the Broken Shore was, no, the same thing happened, it was just interpreted
Perceived differently.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'll take blame for that because I just said, well, how come they didn't just talk about it afterwards? So, therefore, that's
communication.
My bad. I made the Horde evil. Sorry.
Problem is, Sylvanas blew the horn. She should have just been like, hey guys, we're fucked.
Instead of a giant horn.
God. That would have been good.
Varian would have been like, oh, we should get out of here. That makes sense.
So, I know this can't happen. I know it can't happen. Well, I don't know. But I was kind of hoping when I first heard that the Horde kind of had an odd beginning quest to how this is going to go. We'll see what happens this week in a couple days. I was thinking, you know what? My Jaina being a boss in a raid, maybe she is infiltrating. Maybe she's going through and doing stuff. I still want to kill her. I will say it right now. Oh, her and Khadgar, they just caused so much stuff to happen that they just need to go. But I was like, maybe she's just kind of planting things and making us hate each other. But we've had that story before. But
well, and that's so. It seems like a lot of people are saying like, oh, I bet that this is what's happening. They're being controlled from
yeah.
Or oh, I bet Jaina's corrupted, or something along those lines. And that's a well that Blizzard's got to be looking at, thinking that it's running dry at this point because they've gone there so many times, which is why I'm thinking that the whole the Azerite thing is the cataclysm to all of this. No expansion pun intended. And it's one of those things where, again, after reading Before the Storm, I understand the importance of it and everything. And it makes sense, like John said at the very beginning of all this, for why Sylvanas is basically trying to get as much as she can, trying to stop the Alliance from getting it and everything like that. That makes sense. It's just, I don't know. It's a very different kind of expansion. It's a very different kind of story. And it's one of those new things that we're going to have to kind of, ride along with and see where it goes this time.
Oh, go on, John.
I was just going to say, I think the point my character would have come to, or has come to, because I'm full faction pride right now. I've decked out in a Horde tabard. I'm looking good. I'm looking ready to go, which probably seems completely counter to what I'm saying here. It's entirely possible to have a feeling about the story, but then set your character's motivations in separate places. I promise you.
That's called role-playing, John.
It is called role-playing. Because my character's realization with Azerite was that this battle was inevitable. This was going to happen. And if it's going to happen, we're going to be on the winning side. And that's not going to be achieved by sitting on the sidelines. So that's where I got with my character, which is a very depressing, pessimistic outlook. It's like, I don't agree that we're doing this, but it's going to happen, so let's freaking win it. And that's where I'm at. So I'm flying my little Horde flag over here, while also playing an Alliance tune. Several Alliance tunes, as a matter of fact. It's the most Alliance I've ever played in my life. But, it feels self-gratifying.
Something that I have to take a step back and remind myself this expansion, although we've had Horde versus Alliance stuff in the past, nothing like this at all. Like, we've always had the same boss and the same general quests up to the same step. I mean, the past Kata, even further back, we've had the same starting areas with the similar quest and everything. This is the first expansion like this for Blizzard, or for Warcraft. I can't say Blizzard because there's bigger than Warcraft now. So the expectations that we've had for expansions in the past, I have to keep telling myself I can't have those. Like, yes, we'll have the class changes. Yes, we'll have but as far as lore and quest and story goes, like, this isn't going to be just another Legion or another Warlords or another, like, this is going to be different.
Yeah,
And they're proving it.
That's something that I am actually really interested in is how is it going to be leveling up in an entirely different place where we don't have any sort of interaction whatsoever? Like, what's that going to do to the narrative? Like, by the time we're level 120, are we really going to be, super gung-ho about fighting the Alliance? Are we going to have like these massive Azerite weapons where we're going to be able to? Are the Alliance going to be all for, hey, Jaina, you're our new leader, let's go kill the Horde? I mean, there's so many different questions out there that, having an expansion that's, set and staged differently, like you said, it's such an unknown. So who the heck knows?
I know. Not one of the times I was on the show, we were talking about how WoW had been predictable, and we knew about. I don't even think we knew about Battle of Azeroth. This might have been before BlizzCon. I can't remember, but WoW had been predictable. Like, you knew what was happening, and this is throwing something at us we haven't seen before. So I mean, it's something that we had kind of talked about. What could they do? What could they do? Well, they're doing something. Now, I don't know if it's it, but they're doing something, and I think it's all leaving us who've played it for a while, who've seen the pattern and kind of know what to expect, being like, wait, what? Like, what's happening now? Like, this isn't how this is supposed to go. We're supposed to get in Dalaran and have our separate banks and throw those bunny ears at each other. Like, this isn't how it happens.
Yeah.
Oh man, Noble Garden's going to be depressing this year.
I know.
It's just weird because there is a weird, like, disconnect. I look at those new Warcraft TV commercials and I adore them because there's nothing I love more than the petty faction squabbles. Like,
oh, it's lovely.
I love little things like, if somebody's a Horde player and we put them in the little alliance square over there and they're like, oh, I don't want to be in this square. Like, I'll turn my camera off. Like, that's great. Like, I like the little tiny things, the exactly what that shows. Like, oh, I'd rather get rained on than stand under a freaking Horde umbrella. Like, that stuff is cool. I love that.
Let's put that out there and saying in a fun sort of way. Like, we're not talking about if you go to BlizzCon and identify as Alliance and someone punches you, that's not the good kind of stuff.
Right. Keep in mind, I keep saying in a fun, petty way.
I know. That's why I'm specifically pointing out that we're not advocating people to actually go to war with players of the opposite faction.
Like, there's a fun way to do it. There's a way to enjoy it. There's a way to make it witty and snappy and cool and not so like, my faction's better than your faction, I'm so great. There's layers, and I like the bottom layer, and it's fun. I like being at BlizzCon trying to yell louder than the Alliance and then laughing when we do. Like, there's fun, and then there's like, okay, annoying, and then
taking it that step.
Yeah, and then it starts to get too far. And the disconnect is this expansion, there's a lot of things to have fun with, like these commercial show, but it also encourages that absolute ugly side that's on the far end.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it gets a little tricky.
Blizzard has not majorly let us down yet. There's been things where we've gone, I
played Warlords of Draenor.
But still, we were all so excited for that. Like, I remember everyone being sick of mists, and then back to my point. We won't go on that
okay.
We won't go on that but still story-wise, they've always come out and blown us away, or they've done things where you're like, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still in Blizzard we trust, and not trying to, because there are so many things that happened on Tuesday. Well, I didn't play it until Thursday that I was just like, wait, what? Like, but it's just pre-patch. It's just pre-patch.
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 Worked hard. So
Personally, I'm a fan of Chris Pratt, but that's just me.
Chris Pratt, yeah. Me too. Me too.
We'll see where it goes. I mean, I think at least as far as story, and then we can get into the other piece that's a little controversial.
The Jaina.
Oh, we can talk about Jaina too.
Oh, what's the other piece? Hold on.
We
Do
should
the other
talk
piece.
about Jaina.
I just want to say right now that my Pandaren is going with the war to observe, try to stop Shaw
Take
from
notes.
attack. That's basically
I like that.
Yeah, that's the mentality that she has going into it because it's all that she can do. Sorry, John, you told your motivation. I wanted to tell mine.
That's fine. That's a good motivation. You're gonna watch. Gonna make big waves. Watch.
Remember, she's my healer, so I'm going to watch and heal.
Oh, that makes sense. Are you gonna heal everybody?
Look, I'm gonna heal people.
What if you saw one of your panda friends get stabbed by an Alliance human, and then he got hit in the head and he was bleeding? Would you heal him?
If I could actually physically target and heal him, yes, that's what a healer does. But
I love it.
I target and I can't heal.
Shucks. Oh well.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Mechanics.
I guess you should do what my character does and just go shh and stab him.
I'll ease his pain with a kick to the head.
Yeah. Hey, I don't even have to walk up to him. I got this pistol here. Kapow.
Done.
All right. Yeah, that's fine. Let's talk about Jaina.
Oh no, what was the other controversial thing? I want to know.
Oh, okay. Well, the other controversial thing is a topic that I put out on Twitter in a very bad poll, as it was pointed out to me. I was told that it was a very bad poll. And I agree. It was a bad poll because it should have been 3 choices. I made it 4, and 4 split number 3. And now people who liked the third option are upset at me because I split it. I would have been number 3 or 4, everybody. My vote got split too, so it's not my fault I'm bad at polling. I just wanted to know who the arsonists were in the world. But the poll was basically, hey, how do you feel about this content being split into separate weeks? Do you like it because now we have something to look forward to? We looked forward to something this week. Technically, we looked forward to something last week. Now we looked forward to something this week. And we get to look forward to something next week.
Yeah.
And maybe something the week after that.
Well, first of all, who knows if what we think is going to be happening on Tuesday happens on Tuesday?
Yeah, true. We don't know that.
Or
we're guessing.
No
Let's
idea.
have another Alliance player.
that's the plan.
Great. It's going well. We're 0 for 2, so let's keep the trend going.
We're 2 for 2 because we've had Alliance players for 2 episodes in a row now.
That's true. So, gating is a controversial topic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm curious where you two will land. I will go ahead and discuss my thoughts.
Okay.
I had a couple people reach out on Twitter, want to talk about it. And I think in talking about it, I've landed at, I think gating content is going to be like the, do you think spoilers are okay? Or do you think spoilers are not okay? These camps will never agree. I will never convince Ben that it's okay to know stuff before you experience it. He will never convince me that going in unspoiled is the perfect experience.
Well, that's because I like emotions.
I have felt plenty of emotions. In fact, more often than not, knowing what happens has made me go, I want to see that so much more! Which is a significantly larger emotion than, I don't know if I want to see that. So, anyway, that aside, as you can tell, we're already arguing about it. It's a controversial topic. I think that same logic applies to gating. And I think where I have ultimately landed on this is that I like gating when it makes sense.
Yes.
I feel like it made sense in 5.1, the content that I love that I can't remember the name of.
Operation Dominance Offensive.
Landing. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Operation shield wall. Mm-hmm.
It made a lot of sense there because it felt like the gating there was to enhance the daily quest experience. It was like, hey, we know you have to run dailies, so we're going to give you some cool stuff to incentivize doing those every day. Gating content like this does not feel very good, in my opinion. I don't think this was a good experience. This feels like this was drug out just for the sake of dragging it out. It ends very arbitrarily for Alliance. It ends with a...
It ends in a weird place for the Alliance.
It does. I didn't know that was it. I had to ask.
It makes...
the Horde side gets a lot longer, like, quest line, too. I mean, a lot of it's travel. But, yeah, it took us probably, I don't know, 2 hours to get through the Horde side and, like, maybe 45 minutes on the Alliance.
Yes, I think I did in a half hour.
So it's weird to begin with, which is already part of what throws it off. It ends at kind of an unnatural spot. Like, yes, Horde people can be like, well, they have to find a way. They have to make their dark contacts and get through the mines. Okay, but did that part need to be in there? No. That's in there to explain a gate, basically. So it feels rushed. The daily quests they've put in feel extremely arbitrary.
Yeah.
In fact, most of those daily quests are, remember the quest line you did? Yeah. What if you did it again? Okay. Yeah. I guess I could do that. You're right.
Fair, that's what world quests in Legion are, though.
It's true.
Like to make some wine, John? Remember when you did this once?
I love the wine making, though. Don't get me started on the wine making. We can
So
talk
much
about
wine.
making wine, Ben.
Entire
No.
population drunk.
Oh, that'd be a different way to do it. Give the Night Elves a whole bunch of wine.
Done. We'll light the tree on fire ourselves.
I have heard that the Alliance has already cornered the market in wine.
I think gating's a necessary evil, but when done correctly could be for the greater good. And I think they gated this to build up tension. Because you are, as the Alliance, I'm not happy with the Horde at all. As the Horde, I feel like you're confused. I don't really have anything else to say but confusion.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. It's like the Alliance, if they had stopped one quest earlier, it made sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I understand that time dilation sort of stuff has to happen since it's a game. You know, I'd hate it if it took an actual week for my character to take a boat from one continent to the other. But when they're like, okay, they're down at Silithus, and then, hey, they're here in Darnassus, it's like, what?
Those fast boats.
Yeah, and I mean, if they had, had to go into Darnassus to get the Sentinels to, like, I don't know, get the defense ready and everything like that, be like, okay, now we just need to wait for the fleet to come back, and wait a week. You know, it just makes sense, at least to me at that point.
Yeah, it didn't make sense this way.
Because if you're just waiting for the fleet to come back, why don't you get the rest of the Alliance to come too? Because obviously they're at least that close if they're down in Silithus.
The issue that I have with gating in something like this is we get very excited. I made a Spotify playlist for the day.
Oh,
A very good Spotify playlist, and you all should go check it out. It's fun.
Is it all things lighting on fire?
I can read you a few of the songs if you want.
Do it.
It opens with "We Didn't Start the Fire" by Billy Joel.
yes.
"Set Fire to the Rain" by Adele.
By the way, did you see Randy Deluxe's tweet earlier today where he did change the lyrics to "We Didn't Start the Fire" to all World of Warcraft stuff?
I didn't.
Oh, I need to see that.
Fantastic.
"Ring of Fire" by Johnny Cash. "Light My Fire" by The Doors.
Come on, baby, let my fuck you. I love this.
"Great Balls of Fire" by Jerry Lee Lewis. I'm just saying, there's a lot of songs on there. Just some songs that just reminded me of the day. So we can enjoy that next week, I guess. And it's going to be a lot of fun. The problem is I'm very excited about it. I think a lot of people were very excited about it. You get in, and then when there's a quest line like this that just stops abruptly and says, cool, check back in a week, it kills that excitement. And rather than
Yes.
ending on a, oh my gosh, what an emotional gut punch this story moment was, you go from excited to disappointed. Now going into next week, I'm not as excited as I was, and we'll see
And
how I feel
confused.
about the end cutscene, but I think it would have hit harder if I had done it all at once. Now, I already know the arguments because I've heard them online, but we have to have a way to get our alts leveled up, and we want to give people time to make sure that they can do it. And if you just blaze through it, then what do you do for the next 2 weeks? I have plenty to do in WoW for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Have them run the whole thing. I mean, there's a lot that you can do.
This was not an issue for me. Asking me what I need to do for the next 2 weeks in this expansion, I got a list, let me tell you. So it's one of those things where I just don't see it in this case. There are plenty of times where I've seen gates as acceptable things. I don't love it in this case. It kind of ruined the moment for me. And I don't want to tell Blizzard, hey, no more gating. I just want them to be smarter about it. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. It really did kind of put a damper on a lot of it. Like, I'm not saying, hey, I really want to burn this thing down. I'm saying I want to know what happens.
Yeah.
Because again, that ultimately is going to make me either feel heroic as a Horde member or the bad guy. And I don't want to be the bad guy. So I want to know if I am or not at this point.
Well, that's a good point, Ben, because that's my big point. If Blizzard wants to plant a flag in the ground and say, Horde, you're the bad guys. Let's make it clear. You're the bad guys. Then I'm not going to love it. I'm not going to be like, yeah, great, it happened, finally. But I would appreciate them being upfront with it rather than trying to convince me that that's not the case while then continuing to do things that act completely counter to it. Does that make sense? I'd rather you just embrace it and tell me it's the way it is rather than continue to dance around the it's shades of gray and it's, you got a lot of stuff. And
worry about what they're going to be doing.
The Horde needs strong leadership. And
here's the thing. And I keep going back to this. And if I'm wrong, it's okay, whatever, I'm wrong. But if someone like, say, Gen does burn down the tree, that's not the entire alliance doing it. That's a villain doing it. Versus my faction burned down an entire world tree and a city and all that stuff. You know, there's different aspects playing there. But again, I want to know what's going to happen and how the next 2 years of my World of Warcraft playing are going to be feeling like.
Yeah. Should we talk about Jaina?
Before we do, there's one other thing that I really want to bring up.
Oh, okay.
I would like to make the case that the Horde and the Alliance are both incredible assholes.
Yeah.
I feel like that case was made in Warcraft 3. Maybe Warcraft 1. But go ahead, Ben.
Specifically...
Take it away.
Specifically... I don't want to be a furbog living in Darkshore.
Oh my god, yeah, no. Yeah. But they started working for the Horde, so it's okay. At least that's how it was presented for me.
Horde.
No, they didn't. We killed them.
They said that, yeah, because it said they've been corrupted, or they've been swayed. I can't remember what the text was, but I was like, aw, the poor guys are working for the Horde.
We brought a war and started fighting, so they started going crazy.
Yeah.
So it's the Horde and Alliance fighting that did it. It's not the Horde that did it. It's not the Alliance that did it. It's just both of them just, hey, we're just going to do stuff. Drove an entire race of peoples to just go frenzy and start killing stuff.
Dang.
Yeah, the Alliance is like, we got to put them out of their misery. The Horde's like,
that's what it was.
We took over their town.
I feel like the mercy killing, I'm not going to finish this. There is no good way to go. Never mind.
No.
Never mind.
The worst place to be is Azeroth if you're a furbog. It's a bad
Anything.
scene.
To be honest, we went to Mr. Pandaria, and because we were fighting, we caused the Shah to come back.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
We're really good at learning
we're
lessons
not
here on
very
Azeroth.
good. Yeah.
The furballs are Shaw, so we have to kill them all.
Spoilers. The Shaw's back.
It's the Shawbulg.
Furbog's got
I
a
would do that.
bad deal. You know
First,
what? Third faction, Furbogs. I'm joining it.
Done.
I'm in. All right, let's talk about Jaina.
You have to wear a big, like, fluffy coat and a fake nose, though.
Yes.
That's already my
Someone
transmog.
make John- Jaina, though, I got chills.
Oh.
I don't know where they're going with that story. I have so many ideas. And I know earlier said I wanted to kill Jaina because just girl.
Mhm.
But I could get down with Jaina being kind of this badass, no nonsense warrior type. Well, she's not a warrior, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
dang.
I swear I'm the only person that had the reaction I did to that video.
What was
John, what was it?
I can't wait to kill her.
it?
I knew you were gonna say that.
She's been turned over the course of a long time into what could potentially be a very cool villain. And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
all for that. It's like the slow burn that they had with Gary. You know, he started out with daddy issues, grew up, became this evil, horrible thing. Like, he's still the best villain we've ever fought in World of Warcraft.
And look at what we've put Jaina through. I came in Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
She had to watch Arthas go down. She's always sitting here. Sometimes I feel like she's going Khadgar no, and Khadgar goes Khadgar yes, and like does things like with this horde, like this poor girl, and now she's all gray because of all the stress. Like,
And a mana bomb, but
yeah, that's
That's fine.
beside the point. We're going stress here.
it was a stressful bomb.
But she has a lot of pent up stuff that I could see them going full blown. Jaina's done with the world, so let's just destroy it and recreate it in our own image. I mean, she loved Theramore, and look at what happened to that. Why not just make Azeroth Theramore?
Let me address the John wants to kill Jaina, because I can already see it starting to take over the chat. I love Jaina as a character. Again, to give my history, I came in Warcraft 3. Jaina was one of my favorite characters there. She didn't make the top 3, but she's up there. She's maybe number 4. And
Do you play her in Heroes of the Storm? That's the real
I
test.
do play her in Heroes of the
There
Storm.
you go. You like her?
I like Jaina a lot. I think Jaina's great. She's one of my, like I said, one of my favorite characters. But this video, it was beautiful. Let me also say
Yes.
that. It was
Mhm.
gorgeous.
This
It
music,
was-
oh,
The music was phenomenal. It was amazingly performed. I am certainly not critiquing that. I'm speaking purely from a lore standpoint. I feel betrayed by Jaina because I felt like her turning on her father was the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
And this was all about her regrets for that decision. And that she wishes
Yeah.
she had helped him and stood with him to destroy the Horde. And I'm part of the Horde. And that hurts my feelings a little bit. So there were a lot of people won over by a very good song. And it proved the power of musicals is still alive in the hearts and minds of the world.
Surprised people you never would have thought would fall for it, too.
Yeah, it still works. But it's a personal betrayal. It's like finding out your best friend wants to kill you. What was that like, Ben?
You know, honestly, it surprised me. I didn't think you actually had a knife on you at the time.
Nobody
oh
does.
my goodness.
Yeah, but
So-
I mean, overall, you're still my friend. So what does that say, John?
That the power of friendship prevails. Thrall and Jaina back together.
Well, you were also
John.
singing when you tried to do it too, so it might just be the good music
Yeah.
again.
With this
Are we back to the
dagger
power
in
of
my
musicals?
hand, you were like, what? I was like, surprise.
I'm like, where did you get that knife? It's a whole dance thing. Anyways,
As I say, my favorite part of that whole thing was when she said, "I'm listening now, Father," and then the ghost boat keeper
mm-hmm.
behind her. I don't know what to. Yeah, and then she brings up this badass ship, and then just like the last line of the song as it zooms in on her, I'm just like, oh crap! This is either gonna be like really good, and Jaina, we're gonna love her, or this is gonna be really good, bad in a good way, and we're gonna hate her.
Now, I know this joke has been everywhere. In fact, I'm one of the ones who said it before I saw everybody else saying it too. I'm not saying I created it.
Yeah.
But I want to know when mages will be able to summon some sort of watercraft.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, she's
WTF.
It's just a little rowboat. I mean, technically, I've got the raft that I got from Pandaria, so I guess
I
would
don't
made a
know why
mage.
people are so surprised by this. She's a water mage.
yeah.
She always has been. Like, she pulled something
Except
out
it's
of the
called
water.
Frost. On frost.
She has water elementals, not frost elementals.
I know it's because they don't make frost elementals.
Well, geez, it's almost like water is an element that frost mages can command.
Who'd have thought?
Oh,
Which would probably allow her to lift a boat out of the water.
I know, no, and that's what I thought too. It is. I mean, she's a very powerful mage. She was the leader of the Kirin Tor, so obviously this is something she can do.
Boat summoning.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I dig
Korra
it.
did that in Avatar. That's not true. I made that.
Now the big question is that boat actually still seaworthy? I mean, it's sunk for a reason.
That's okay. Now you're landing on the thought I had, which was
But she's
just because you wanted it doesn't mean it works now.
she's a water mage. She could probably shape the water around the boat. Like, doesn't matter if there's a hole in that thing.
To seal this hull, let's try water.
Yeah, she's just a water bender
Done.
now, so it works.
Yeah.
Makes sense,
Done.
though.
I just like the idea, though, that boats are just purely like they need a captain to work, and as soon as you kill the captain, it's just like down it goes.
No more boat.
Sorry, guys, I don't have a captain. Get a water mage. Her dad in that video looked like he should be in those scary stories to tell in the dark books.
Are you afraid of the dark?
Yes.
Like,
Like the one where
Yeah.
the woman got the dog in Mexico and it was a rat.
Those
Wait, are
were
we
some
talking
messed
about
up things.
the book or the show?
I'm talking about the book.
Are you talking about Goosebumps? Wait, I'm confused.
No.
It was
Are
like
you afraid of the dark?
No,
Wait,
Are
was-
You Afraid of the Dark was a TV show
Dark?
on Nickelodeon.
Yes.
Goosebumps was a series of children's books. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was also a series
Okay.
of children's books.
Those were short
Yeah.
story type
right
things.
with
Yep.
Okay, yes.
exceptionally
Same page.
creepy pictures.
Yeah, those were nightmare worthy.
Yeah, that's what her dad looks like.
Oh man, I just did a search for it and the pictures
They're
like oh,
creepy.
crap.
Yeah, it's
Those were
basically
kids' books.
it's basically him.
Yeah, that's very true.
He fits right in. All I'm saying is, Jaina
Yeah.
did not get her looks from her dad.
Oh man, there's the picture from the lady who had the spiders in her cheek.
Yeah, that's one. That
Oh,
one's
yep,
rough.
yep.
She also
Oh,
looked like
man.
my next door neighbor,
Oh, wait, Jaina or the lady with the spiders
the
in her
lady
cheek?
with the spiders in her cheek.
Oh. Ew.
I'm excited for the Jaina story. I think it has a lot of potential.
And it turns out she called from upstairs the entire time.
No, Jaina.
No, I'm with you though, and I'm really glad that she's being brought into this expansion, and it's one of the reasons why I'm really excited to play the Alliance side. Partly because if I could transmog anything like her really awesome like seafaring robes, I'll be super psyched.
Oh my goodness, yes.
But I mean, just the idea of her coming back and like kind of reintroducing herself into Kul Tiras and everything, I'm super excited to actually experience that and see what it's going to be like.
I just want Jaina and Thrall to make up. Even if she still hates the Horde, I just want them to pal around again. They
Yeah,
were cute together, dang it.
they're good best
And then
friends.
he went and started hanging out with Agra, had like 2 kids out of nowhere. Friggin' orc babies pop out fast. And then he lost his hammer, and then he gave it to people, and then they screwed that up.
Like what you're saying is they're going to go hang out on the Citadel together?
I feel like Elemental Shaman were denied a quest line where they give the hammer back.
Yeah.
I
It's enhanced.
really want to see them hold up this shoddy, shattered hammer with sparks shooting out of it and just going, "The Legion was defeated, Thrall, thanks." And here he is, looking at his trusty weapon he's used for all these years that he entrusted to you in a moment of midlife crisis. He just weeps. He just
Disappointment.
weeps.
Disappointment.
And thrall he was.
He just puts the hammer down and he just goes, "It's fine. Thank you for returning it to me."
Aggro, where's the super glue?
And then you leave and you just hear, "Oh!" Lightning strikes the house.
Hey, he got his groove back.
Hey, the elements are listening again. I helped.
They're all like, they did what to your hammer, thrall?
Tell me about your
I
hammer.
love it.
Yeah.
He's the only one that we kind of just borrowed a weapon from, right?
Well, he actively handed it over. He's like, I can't really use this anymore because I cheated.
I
Here
feel
you
like it was implied that he would want it back at a certain point.
go. Maybe?
I mean, we got Ashbringer from a dead body, basically. A surprisingly still alive body.
Yeah. He was alive when we found him, so...
Which was shocking. He took a staggering amount of damage.
And then fell in fell lava.
Uh-huh. And then he's like, I'm not dead. Have an Ashbringer. Now I'm dead. So, it's, I don't know. Anyway, Jaina, she's alright.
Yeah.
I feel a little betrayed, but I'll get over it. I'm sure I'll like playing alongside her on the Alliance side.
Yay.
Yeah.
Alliance.
Look, we're coming to the end of the show. I've got an important thing I want to tell people.
Okay.
I want to end on a message of positivity and togethership. You know, we're about to go to war with each other. Let's end in a good place. And what I want to say is we're all a little bifactional.
Yeah.
Some of us more than
Agreed.
others. Some of us are way into it. Some of us are an even 50-50 split. Some of us will tell you, hey, we're all about the Horde, but we experiment a little. There's a lot of people out there that wear their faction on their sleeves, but they seem to know what's going on. And so you just kind of know that they either have a secret tune on the side that they aren't telling anybody about, or they're at least looking online at the internet to see what the other side's doing. So all I'm saying...
All you have to do is look at their achievements and compare. And if they have the double
Yes.
agent, they're bifactional.
So all I'm saying is we're all a little bifactional, at the very least. And that's okay, and we should all be proud of it. So be good to everybody.
Yeah.
I think that's a good message.
Wow. Kind of stole any sort of ending thunder I had. So, Turarts, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me on. I always love coming on the show. We'll see what happens. Keep your minds open, people. We're only in part 1 of 3. Is
We're
that
not
what it is?
still on Tuesday. I bet you we aren't.
I have no idea.
Guess what? The Horde is going to have to go do with whatever Sarfang did. And then the Alliance is going to have to
Wait for the boats.
do paper
We're
mache.
still waiting for boats.
Well, some of them are there, which is weird, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just Blizzard has a way of knowing what they're doing. So just any emotions you have, and I have them too. They're here. They're here. Let it ride. That's the August 14th, y'all. 13th. I
13th at 3 p.m. Pacific.
13th. Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, Turarts, again, thank you very much for joining us. Where can people
Yes.
find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Turarts. That's Turarts. I do a couple podcasts, a bi-weekly one called The Converted with the Convert to Raid Guild, so it is Alliance heavy. And then I do the game case, which I know we've been in a lull, but we are coming back with Cuddles or the game case depending on how you know them. And I do stream randomly over at twitch.tv/Turarts. I think that's everything.
John, how about you? Where can people find you?
Well, hey, Ben, if you want to hear more from me, follow me on Twitter at John_Jagger. That's where you can catch the sick, what did I call it? What's the name of the playlist? The sick Teldrassil Lit Mix.
Oh,
Nice.
It's lit, guys.
Nice.
And you can find a link to that. You can enjoy that on Tuesday, no matter what happens. You can enjoy it any day, really. It's a fantastic collection of music. But hey, if you don't want to just hear music that I hastily assembled, You can follow me, I already said, on Twitter, or you can catch me on shows like Core.
Gore!
That's where I'll talk about Heroes of the Storm. And you can find out more about that at heroesforyou.com. You can also catch me playing D&D on There Will Be Dungeons. More information
Good
about
job.
that at therewillbedungeons.com, which we are back tomorrow. And I'm
Holy
so
crap.
excited.
I am so excited to hear that.
It has been a really long wait. This was one of the most painful weeks I've ever had to wait because of where we ended versus where we're starting. So I am extremely excited to be back. Ben, where can people find you?
Best place to find me is on Twitter. I am at Ben the Mage. I do a show with Eludra called Battle Pets, where we talk about battle pets in the World of Warcraft. On top of that, I also do a Dungeons & Dragons show called Secrets of Talonguard. Check it out. I have fun with it. Hopefully you will too. This show, though, Azeroth Roundtable, we are found on the Twitters at AzerothRT. If you have any questions, comments, want to tell us how wrong we are, you can always send those emails to AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com. Or if you want to tell us how right we are, you can also send those to AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com. All of our episodes are found on AzerothRoundtable.com, as well as on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Alpha Geek Radio, a bunch of other places. Anywhere you can find a podcast is pretty much where we'll be.
All right. Well, that brings us to the part of the show where we talk to our patrons. Now, first up, I want to address one thing. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. There was a little bit of a mix-up. Episodes didn't get posted in the month that they were recorded, which led to a very light month. We had a plan on how we were going to handle that, and we had a couple people say that it was a confusing plan and a bad plan, and upon reflection, I agree. So here's what we're doing to hopefully make it right to our patrons. If you want to read more what's going on, you can go there. I put a post up explaining what's going on. Basically what we're doing is we are going to just post episodes. We're going to get everything up there, up to current. And for the last 3 episodes, including this one, we will not be charging patrons for them. And then starting fresh in August, everything's going to be as it always was. Charging patrons per episode post. So we apologize for the issue. It's 100% on me. I just said we...
So to make sure that this isn't confusing either, that means this month they're going to be charged the same normal amount that they usually have been, correct?
Should, yeah, because they'll be charged from the episodes that were missing from last month, and then the first 2 episodes.
Just simplify it and say you're charged for this many episodes this month.
Go read about it on patreon.com/AzerothRT, where you can find information about what's going on if you still have questions.
Making it confusing, John. You're over-explaining.
You're confusing.
I know.
This is my part of the show, Ben. Be quiet.
I'm helping. I'm trying to help the listeners. I care about them.
No, you don't. So, patreon.com/AzerothRT is where you can go to be cared for by me and not Ben. And we like to thank our patrons. I do, at least. Specifically the Murloc Club. That's Jim G, Frasley S, Kryn, Haster, Mimi H, Aaron, and Simon. Thank you for being a part of the Murloc Club. Ben, this is the part where you participate.
And I care a whole lot. Thank you, everybody. Everybody who supports, whether they be Patreon or not. I do.
Thank you again. Pardon our dust on this. Like I said, patreon.com/AzerothRT. If you have additional questions, we will also be posting that in Discord.
Yes. So with that being said, Turarts, again, thank you. It has been a fantastic time. Hopefully you won't get caught in any, weird firestorms come Tuesday.
No, definitely not. I am fireproofed, so we are going to be good. But thank you guys so much for having me on.
We love it. We really do. And with that, everybody, have fun in Azeroth. Good luck, and be good to each other. I really do care a lot, guys.
He doesn't.
Shut up. And that's where I stopped the recording of the podcast.
Perfect. Well, since I am at my parents' this week, I am going to go because I am keeping people up. So, I'm gonna go. Usually, I'm more than happy hanging out for a post show,
Oh,
but
nice. Get it? Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
doing this,
Yes.
even you're at your parents.
no, I'm excited. I love this. I try to keep it calm, but there's so many things that I don't understand. So, Tuesday.
Emotions are running very, very high right now.
They are.
It's
Some
a
would
high
say
time.
they're hot, so much that you might spontaneously combust.
Yeah, it's enough to set a tree on fire.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yes. No, I love being on. Thank you guys for having me. And yeah, we'll see what happens Tuesday, if anything happens. Otherwise, next Tuesday, I guess.
I mean, at some point, the expansion's coming out.
It's coming out on the 13th. So, I mean, something's going to happen. Just let's go.
Just keep
Bye.
inviting Alliance people, Ben.
Launches. I'm trying.
Bye,
Right
guys, and
now-
bye, chat room.
Bye,
Bye,
Turarts. Thank you again.
Yes.
I always love having her on.
Yeah.